These are the top 15 most exciting sneakers left to release in 2023 that we know about. What's up everybody, I'm Seth Fowler and let's get into it. So I'm gonna go down this list based on release date, so the shoes that are releasing soonest I'm gonna start with. And this first shoe, while we don't know exactly when it's dropping, it apparently is dropping soon. So I figured to start with this one. And this shoe is the Action Bronson New Balance 990 V6 Lapis Lazuli. So Action Bronson is a man of many talents. He's doing a lot of really cool stuff right now, and in my opinion, one of the coolest things he's doing is collaborating with New Balance. Now, I've had the pleasure of meeting Action Bronson in person. Gotta be honest, I don't think he loved the interaction. But hey, you know what? It was still a great experience, so I appreciate Action for taking the time to talk to me about sneakers. It was Adidas at the time, but still sneakers. And I've gotta say, the fact that he's collaborating with New Balance is really exciting, and I've really liked what he's dropped so far. The first shoe that dropped was the first colorway of the Action Bronson New Balance 990 V60s, and while yes, that color was very bright and very out there, and maybe not everyone could rock that shoe, this second colorway is much more wearable and still got some flavor to it. I should also say that the 990 V6 is one of the best and most comfortable and, in my opinion, good-looking sneakers available on the market right now. Yes, I'm a little biased, I love New Balance, but hey, it makes sense that Action Bronson is collaborating on this silhouette in particular because this silhouette is awesome. So this second Action Bronson collaboration 990 V6 comes in this really nice gray and blue upper accented by a cream midsole and purple hits. And personally, I love this shoe because while yes, it is still toned down from the previous collaboration, it still features some pop. It still has a lot of color going on in the upper. There's still a lot going on without being too overt and too out there. And I think for a lot of people, this might be their favorite version of the shoe, me included. I love the first version of the shoe, but this one's a lot more wearable, and this is something that I could throw on every day. And man, when you're rocking a 990 V6, it feels like you're just walking on clouds, walking on air. It's the best feeling. It maybe isn't the most comfortable shoe in the world, I guess, when you're comparing it to like some of the crazy soft Nike sneakers that are out there. But in terms of overall comfort and I guess all-day wearability, this is like a 10 out of 10. This shoe is amazing. Now, like I said, there is no official release date for this shoe yet. Action Bronson has come out and said that the shoe is dropping soon, but we don't know exactly what soon means. It could mean next week, it could mean next month. I'm taking it as dropping sometime in May, so that's my guess. Moving on to the next shoe, dropping on May 1st, we've got the Nike Kobe 4 Protro GG. So this shoe is a very special release because this shoe is releasing on Gigi Bryant's 17th birthday to commemorate Gigi Bryant. And the shoe, like the Mambacitas that released a couple years ago, I think last year or the year before, comes in white and black tones. Now, obviously, the circumstances surrounding the release of this shoe are incredibly sad, and we'll miss Kobe and Gigi for years to come, if not forever. And I definitely think this is a great way to remember Gigi Bryant. The shoe comes in primarily white tones, accented by black details on the Nike swoosh on the heel and on the toe, and you've also got some really nice gold hits on the Kobe logo on the tongue. In addition to the shoe coming in the colors of the Mambacita Sports Foundation, the shoe also features Gigi's name embroidered onto the heel. All around, I think it's a great looking shoe, and I hope Nike produces a bunch of these so that everyone who wants a pair can grab them, but I have a feeling that they're going to be very limited and very hard to get. So that's definitely a downside, but it's still nice to see them releasing a pair to honor Gigi. Then returning on May 13th, we've got the highly anticipated Air Jordan 4 Thunder. So this shoe last released back in 2012 and was actually inspired by Michael Jordan's 2006 motorcycle race team. The shoe comes in a primarily black nubuck upper accented by bright, electrifying, almost lightning colored yellow on the midfoot and on the heel of the shoe. And it makes sense that Jordan Brand is bringing back this shoe now. Not only has it been almost 10 years since the last release of this shoe, Jordan 4s are as popular as they've ever been. So this shoe absolutely will sell out, even though it's a colorway that I think if it had released 5 years ago probably would not have sold out. It probably would have sat on shelves. This shoe is definitely one that I think a lot of people are going to be excited about. I mean, just look at the popularity of the Air Jordan 4 Red Thunders, a shoe which was almost the exact same shoe, except instead of having yellow, it had red. And I actually have a pair of these coming in to give you guys an early review of the shoe, so if you guys are interested in checking that out, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below, or follow me on Instagram at RealSethFowler because I do a lot of early reviews over there as well. But super clean release, I think a lot of people are going to be stoked on it, and if you're willing to drop the $210 for this shoe when it officially releases on May 13th, you shouldn't have too hard of a time, but I don't think it's going to sit. Next up, on July 8th, we've got the Air Jordan 1 UNC Toe. So the UNC colorway on Jordan sneakers just makes sense. It's where Michael Jordan went to school. It's one of those colorways that just pops on sneakers. It's a match made in heaven. And so whenever Jordan Brand sees an opportunity to put UNC colors on a pair of Jordan sneakers, they go for it. And it seems like that's exactly what they're doing with these UNC Toe Air Jordan 1s. While the shoe probably won't be called the UNC Toe officially, it's probably going to be called something like, I don't know, Legend Blue ones or like Cloud Blue ones or something that just doesn't really tie in with the school, because I don't know if they still have a partnership going on in that way. I'm sure they still sponsor the team or whatever, but regardless, they're taking a shoe and a colorway that are both very popular and they're mashing them up together in a new colorway, which is a slightly different take from the UNC Air Jordan 1s that we saw a couple years back. So material wise, this shoe seems pretty similar to all of your standard Air Jordan 1s. You've got tumbled leather, which is alright, it's not the best. And the color blocking on this shoe doesn't seem that out of the ordinary. We just had the Lucky Greens, or will have the Lucky Greens in the next week or two. We had the Bred Toe ones. We have a lot of shoes that feature that same color used on the heel of the shoe, on the toe of the sneaker. However, we haven't seen it done in this particular colorway yet. And although this shoe isn't an OG colorway or one that we've seen before, I think the matchup of UNC blue and this sort of color blocking that people seem to really love is going to make this shoe a very popular release. And while Jordan 1s are not as popular as they were 2 years ago, the shoe, in my opinion, will still absolutely sell out. And I know this isn't a sit or sell video, but regardless, I think this shoe is going to be very popular and possibly difficult to get. Maybe not that difficult to get, because I'm sure they're going to produce a bunch of them, but harder to get than a standard pair of Jordan 1s. Speaking of Jordan 1s, on July 28th, we've got the Air Jordan 1 Low Black Toe. So unfortunately this year, we're not going to get a high top or a reimagined Air Jordan 1 Black Toe like we thought we were going to get at the end of last year, but we're still getting a version of the Black Toe 1s. Unfortunately, it is a low top version, but low top Jordan 1 seems to be pretty popular right now, so it makes sense why Jordan Brand are releasing these shoes now. So the black toe colorway is one of the original Air Jordan 1 colorways. However, unlike the UNC toe or the Lucky Greens or any shoe like that, it doesn't feature a color that's used on the heel of the shoe on the toe of the sneaker. Instead, it just features a white leather panel. And in my opinion, there's something about that look that really works. Obviously, you get some nice balance if you have the same color on the toe that you have on the heel of the shoe, but there's something about this colorway that's just so classic that you can't really go wrong. Like some of the more premium Air Jordan 1 lows, the shoe will feature the Nike Air branding on the tongue of the shoe and of course the Wings logo on the heel. The leather also might be a little bit nicer than standard Jordan 1 lows. I'm not sure about that, but I'm guessing. And all in all, it's a great looking shoe. It's an OG colorway. It's going to be a perfect sneaker for summer, and for me, it's a must-have. Moving on to August 2023, it looks like we might be getting another high Union LA Air Jordan 1 collaboration. Now, while it's fair to say that Union LA has had an incredibly successful partnership with Jordan Brand, by far the most popular release that they ever had were the two Union LA Air Jordan 1s that released back in 2018? I actually don't remember. 2018. Now, unfortunately, there are not a lot of details about this release. We have a couple mock-ups, which honestly are probably going to look way better than the actual shoe is going to end up looking. At least that's usually what happens when it comes to mock-ups. The people who do the mock-ups are really incredibly talented. Not to say the Jordan Brand designers aren't talented. I'm trying to give everyone props here. In a lot of ways, the mock-ups tend to be exactly what people want, and Jordan Brand wants to withhold a little bit of something so that they can give you more and more stuff to buy, and then eventually one day they'll give you that exact colorway that you want, but by then the sneaker or whatever is not going to be as popular as it was right when it was. It doesn't matter. It's a whole big thing. Jordan Brand just really plays with our emotions, and it gets frustrating. But either way, I'm incredibly excited for this release. I'm excited to see what Union LA and Jordan Brand do together. The first two sneakers that they released, the two Air Jordan 1s, are some of my most favorite, I hate saying most favorite, but most favorite collaborations of all time. There are two sneakers that I own that I love that I'm never going to get rid of. I proposed to my wife in the Storm Blue colorway. I love the shoe that much. Yeah, I'm just super stoked on this release. And of course, make sure to stay locked to my Instagram and my Twitter at @RealSethFowler, because as soon as I learn more information about this release, I'm going to let you guys know, because this, for me, is probably one of my most anticipated releases until leaked images come out and the shoe looks like trash. So it's possible that that happens and then I just don't care about it anymore. We'll have to wait and see. See you guys in July, August, whenever the shoe's dropping. And while we don't know exactly what these Union LA Air Jordan 1s will look like, I can tell you one thing for sure: they're going to look great with any pair of Apothecary socks. In particular, our latest collection that's dropping this Friday, the Pretty Much Broke collection. So we're dropping a full collection of money-themed socks to match with our incredibly popular Pretty Much Broke hat and of course our Pretty Much Broke hoodies, and they all drop this Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on apothecary.com. And yes, they look great with the current Union LA Air Jordan 1s, and you can rock these socks with those Union LA Air Jordan 1s until the newest Union LA Air Jordan 1s drop. Again, we don't know the colorways, but I can almost guarantee you that at least one of the socks in this collection will match great with those shoes. So again, if you guys want to grab the Pretty Much Broke sock collection, it drops this Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and you can grab the hats and the hoodies right now on apothecary.com, link in the description below. Moving on to September 2nd, we've got the return of the classic Air Jordan 8 playoffs, my favorite Air Jordan 8 colorway. So it literally has been 10 years since we last got this release. This shoe last dropped in 2013, and now finally in 2023, the year of Michael Jordan, we're getting this OG colorway back. Now, if you guys have watched my thrifting series where I'm trying to build a clock of OG Jordan colorways, the Air Jordan 8 playoffs is the OG colorway that I decided to go with for the clock, and it's just such a clean and wearable colorway. I think it looks absolutely incredible, and so I'm so excited to have a more recent pair pair to rock on the regular. It's just one of those classic Air Jordan models and colorways that Michael Jordan wore when he won his third championship back in 1993, his first three-peat, and the shoe has been an icon ever since. And like I said, I'm incredibly excited to own a newer version of this pair. Moving on to October 18th, we've got the women's satin Air Jordan 1s. So back in 2016 or 2017, Jordan Brand released exclusively in New York City the satin Air Jordan 1s, which were limited to 500 pairs. Now, I actually walked past this event on the way to work, and that was before they fired me, and honestly, I should have just gone to the event and gotten the shoe because now it's worth like $3,000, and I wouldn't still be regretting it to this day because literally there was no line at the event. I'm sure I could have waited there for like an hour and gotten a pair, but I didn't. Instead, I went to my job, which, a couple months later was like, nah, you're out. And I was like, well, that sucks. But now it seems like in a weird twist of fate, I'm getting a second chance at grabbing these shoes. Now, it's not the exact same pair. It's going to be a women's exclusive, and it's probably going to be slightly different than the original. It definitely won't be numbered. However, it seems almost exactly the same from the outside of the shoe. So as the name of the shoe would suggest, it's a satin pair of Air Jordan 1 Breds. It features satin on the entire upper of the shoe instead of leather, and that gives this shoe a really cool, glossy shine to it. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm definitely gonna be trying to grab a pair of these. I don't care if they're women's exclusive. I'm going for it. I'm grabbing a pair in a size 9. I have small enough feet that I can still rock women's sizes if necessary, size 10.5 women's. And yeah, I'm doing it. Not no matter what the cost, but if they're like reasonable, I'll grab a pair. Because we all know I'm not winning on the sneakers app. Now, unfortunately, at this time, we don't have any actual images of the women's release of this shoe. We only have images of the original satin Bred Air Jordan 1, so it's possible these shoes are different. And if they are different, let's be honest, that sucks. That'd be such a bummer, but who knows? It's possible that they will be. Hopefully they look exactly like the originals and we can grab a shoe that I think a lot of people have been dreaming about since 2016. Moving on to October 28th, we've got the return of a classic with the Cherry Air Jordan 12s. I think the last time this shoe released was back in like 2009 or 2010. I'm not sure exactly which date it was, but I know that there was supposed to be a release or a rumored release sometime around 2017 and it just never happened. And now it seems like in 2023, we might actually be getting the shoe back, which is really exciting. It's been 13 or 14 years. And I think a lot of people, Kai Somar included, are very stoked about this shoe. I am too. I think it's a great looking sneaker. As you probably know, the shoe comes in a white leather upper accented by red details on the mud guard and on the outsole of the shoe. It's kind of like a reverse flu game in a way. The flu game's black instead of white. I don't know, it's not really a reverse, but either way, it's similar to the flu games, and it's a shoe that Michael Jordan wore during the 1997 season. And I'm not really the biggest Air Jordan 12 fan. I used to love the Air Jordan 12 back in like 2015, 2016 when they were releasing a lot of them, but I just realized the shoe is just too much like a boot for me. I can't really rock it anymore now that I'm in my 30s. Man, that sucks. But either way, it's a great looking sneaker. I will be trying to grab a pair because even though I don't think I'm going to rock this shoe a lot, it's a classic Air Jordan 12 and I'd love to have a pair in my collection. Continuing on to November 4th, we've got a shoe that I am ridiculously excited for, and that's the Air Jordan 1 Reimagined Royal. So the Air Jordan 3 White Cement Reimagined is probably one of my favorite releases of the entire year. For a long time I was calling it Sneaker of the Year, and while I think yes, it could still be that sneaker, I think some other sneakers might have surpassed that shoe now, and in particular the Air Jordan 4 SB. I think that shoe is crazy. In fact, I've got it right back there. But this shoe is also going to be a crazy release. The Air Jordan 1 Royal hasn't released since 2017. I believe was the last time the shoe released. Was that right? 2017. Yeah, because 2016 is when the Breds released, then 2017 the Royals, and then 2018 was the gray pair, the Shadows. So it's been a minute since we last got this release, and I'm really excited to see what they do with this sneaker. One of my favorite things about the Lost and Found is actually the packaging and the story behind this shoe. On the surface, it's just a standard Chicago Air Jordan 1, but when you see this shoe with all the little details that make up the packaging and honestly make up the materials on the shoe, it's honestly a lot more interesting than a standard pair like the 2015 Chicagos, which, don't get me wrong, are an incredible pair. I have a pair of them, I love them, but there's just something about the Lost and Founds that are just that much more exciting. Now, like I said, we don't know exactly what they're going to do with these reimagined ones. I'm assuming they're going to be in a 1985 cut, like the Air Jordan 3 Reimagines are in the 1988 cut. So it's possible that these shoes are going to be very similar to the Air Jordan 1 1985s. Who knows? I don't know if the packaging is going to be different. I have no idea. I would assume that it is. But until we see leaked images of this shoe or leaked images of the packaging, we have no clue. But either way, when this shoe releases, I'm going to have to double up. This shoe is going to be fire, unless it's not actually a Royal Air Jordan 1 and they made some stupid changes. But I feel like with these reimagined Air Jordan 1s, the changes are usually pretty minimal. Like with the 3s, it was just aging the midsole. But again, hey, we'll just have to wait and see. But either way, I'm excited. Next up, on December 1st, we've got two different colorways of the Ma Maniere Air Jordan 5s. Now, similar to the way that Union LA and Jordan Brand's most popular collaboration was the Union LA Air Jordan 1s, it's the same situation with Ma Maniere. Their most popular collaboration was their first, the 3s, and each subsequent collaboration has been really great and relatively popular, but none have really hit that same level of hype as the 3s. In fact, the Air Jordan 12s didn't even really sell out. You could find pairs in stores. I think there's still pairs online somewhere that are still going for retail. It's crazy. So when it comes to an AMM Air Jordan 5 collaboration, I don't know what the hype is going to be like, because the Air Jordan 5 is not the most popular Air Jordan model. In my opinion, it's one of the best, but it's not the most popular. And depending on how they color these releases or do colorways on these releases, it could be a hit or a flop. I have no idea. Now, the two colorways that are supposed to be dropping are the black colorway and the light bone colorway, which makes a lot of sense with Ma Maniere's collaborations. They do a lot of like cream and purple colorways, so I wouldn't be surprised if the black colorway features purple accents and the cream or light bone colorway looks a lot like a lot of their other cream and light bone colorways. But personally, I'm excited about this shoe. Like I said, Air Jordan 5s are some of my favorite sneakers. I have a bunch of pairs of Air Jordan 5s. I love the shoe, and this colorway of the shoe could be really great. Or could not, I have no idea. But looking at all their other collaborations, they tend to be pretty decent. They're all very wearable, so for that reason, I'm excited about both colorways. I think I probably will lean more towards the light bone colorway without having seen it. Just in my head, imagining the shoe, I think the light bone is gonna be the way I wanna go, but I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. And even though I said December 1st was the release date of these shoes, the actual official release date of these shoes has not been announced or even leaked. I think people assume that they're releasing on December 1st, but until they actually officially say something about the release of these shoes, we just don't know for sure. But either way, I'm excited to see what they come up with. Then moving on to December 9th, we've got the classic Air Jordan 11 holiday release, and this time around, it's the Air Jordan 11 DMP 2023. So while this shoe looks a lot like the Concord Air Jordan 11s, it's actually not exactly the same shoe. This shoe was part of a pack in 2006 that was made up of the Air Jordan 11 and the Air Jordan 6, called the DMP pack, or the Defining Moments pack. Now back in 2020, they released the Air Jordan 6 DMP as a standalone release, I'm sure you guys remember, and now in 2023, it seems like they're bringing back the Air Jordan 11 as a standalone release as the Air Jordan 11 DMP. The main difference between this shoe and the Concord 11s is that this shoe features gold hits both on the Jumpman and on the numbering on the back of the shoe, and also probably a special tag or something like that. And in my opinion, if they go about this release like they did with the DMP 6s, this release will be very similar to the original, and so the colorway of this shoe is going to look just like a pair of Concords, but with gold hits. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm not mad at it. Yes, we did recently get Concord 11s. It wasn't that recent, but it was recent enough. And I think the shoe being one of the most popular Air Jordan 11 colorways of all time, people are gonna be excited about it. No, it's not exactly the OG colorway, but it's close enough. So in a lot of ways, it's a nice way for people to get Concord 11s without paying the Concord 11 prices. So I'm all for this release. I'm excited about it. It could feature the Jordan text written down the side of the sneaker on the lace eyelets of the shoe like they did on the sample DMPs. I don't think they're gonna do that, but it's possible that they might. So it might not be exactly like the Concords, who knows? Until we see images of the shoe, we won't know for sure. But either way, I think it's gonna be a popular release that a lot of people are gonna be going for, just like every other holiday Air Jordan 11. Even though they're not as popular as they once were, holiday 11s are hard to not buy. They make a lot of them, they're always good looking, and I think sneakerheads are just suckers for 11s. So the last shoes that I'm going to feature in today's video are sneakers that don't have release dates yet. However, some of these releases are slated to release towards the end of the year. In fact, I think all of these sneakers are slated to release towards the end of the year, so that's why I put them at the end of the video. But the first shoe is the Reverse Grinch Kobe 6 Protro. And I mean, just based on the name, I'm sure you guys can guess generally when this shoe is supposed to be releasing. So the Grinch 6s are not only one of the most popular Christmas releases of all time when it comes to sneakers, but they're also one of the most popular Kobe Bryant sneakers of all time. And so to me, it's kind of surprising that Nike waited this long to release a reverse version of the shoe to capitalize on that popularity. And I'll be honest, this shoe is kind of clean. This is an all red Kobe 6 Protro, similar to another pair of all red Kobe 6 Protros which we recently got, but it's still a very clean release. So the other hit on this shoe, besides the all red upper and the black Nike swoosh, is the green laces and the green Kobe logo on the tongue. The one thing that I prefer about the original Grinches versus these Grinches, even though obviously the history of those Grinches makes those, in my opinion, a way better shoe, is the fact that on the green Grinches, there's some variation between the different greens used on the shoe, especially in the midsole. On this shoe, it seems like it's all a very similar tone of red, and while yes, red is my favorite color, it doesn't have that same sort of variation and that same sort of 3D effect to it. So I kind of miss that about this shoe, but either way, still a great release and still one that I think a lot of people will be excited for. And of course, because it's a Grinch colorway, it's probably releasing around Christmas, if I had to guess. Now, I should preface this next shoe by saying that people have come out and said that this is a friends and family exclusive, and there's a good chance that it is literally just a friends and family exclusive. But for me, I'm kind of holding out hope, and I think that there is a chance that this shoe could release to the public one day. So this shoe is the Concepts Nike SB Dunk Low White Lobster. And as you probably could have guessed, this shoe is a collaboration with Concepts, and it comes in almost entirely white. There are some variations of white, or I guess grays. You got, I think, a pearlescent Nike swoosh. You've got some like textured gray on the upper, but that's about it. It's a very clean looking shoe, and while it's probably not the most popular Nike SB Dunk Low Concepts collaboration, at least if it was a widespread release, because the white isn't as exciting as something like the orange or the purple or other shoes like that, it's still a release that I think a lot of people would love to have. And while yes, it is technically a friends and family release, I think it is possible that this could be the next Concepts collaboration if one ever happens. I mean, the orange lobsters were incredibly popular, and so were all of the other previous lobster releases, but this would be a dope release that I think a lot of people would be stoked on. So Nike or Concepts, if you're listening to this, please release this shoe, or maybe re-release some of the other classic Concepts Nike lobster sneakers, because they were all fire. I don't know. I just wanted to talk about this shoe because I think it is possible this shoe could release in 2023, but that possibility is like 5%, 2%, maybe 1%. Realistically, maybe 0%, but either way, I want to talk about it. It's a dope shoe. And then finally, rounding off today's video with the sneaker that's been rumored for the last couple months, and that's the Travis Scott Air Jordan 7. Now, like a couple of the other shoes on this list, there are no images of this shoe yet. There haven't been any leaks yet, and so it's possible that the shoe won't look anything like these renderings, but I've got to say that these renderings, not too bad. I wouldn't be mad if this was a release. In fact, this Air Jordan 7 might not be the only new Travis Scott releasing in 2023. There have been rumors that there is a brand new Jordan silhouette coming out exclusive to Travis Scott that should release in the next couple months to maybe couple years. No one really knows for sure, but it's possible we get a lot of Travises this year, especially since we're losing the Travis Scott Air Jordan 1s to fill that void. And I mean, hey, why wouldn't it be an Air Jordan 7? The Air Jordan 7's a clean silhouette. If it's a Travis collaboration, it'll sell regardless of how it looks. So I'm excited to see it. Hopefully it looks good, and hopefully this new Travis silhouette looks good, but we won't know until we see it. And again, if I find out any information about these releases that I don't put in a video, I'll make sure to talk about it on my Instagram and on my Twitter at @RealSethFowler, so make sure to give me a follow over there. But hey, with all that being said, thanks so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.